The Sign Zone's here in a few moments on BBC One, and it starts tonight with the surgeons changing children's faces and changing their lives. That's after a Weatherview with John Hammond.
Hello there. A fine and warm prospect for much of the rest of the week, as we've seen for the majority of the spring as well, with the continued exception of the far northwest. And here again we're going to see frontal systems pushing in from the west today, bringing some pretty wet weather. But for the rest of the UK, closest to the high pressure, another largely dry prospect, and it's going to feel quite warm despite a fairly cloudy sky in many places. We're importing fairly humid air, and that's going to keep the temperatures well up through the early hours. Though under the clear skies across the southeast, in rural places we could see temperatures falling quite low, but generally higher, 7 to 9 degrees. Wind and cloud across the north though, and there's that wet weather across the northwest of Scotland in particular. It's going to stay there throughout Wednesday. A very wet picture for the northwest Highlands and Islands. The odd spot elsewhere across Scotland, Northern Ireland, but still a lot of dry weather and increasingly bright, as you can see, the further south and east you go across the country. Even further west, for the likes of southwest England and Wales, a few breaks developing, particularly east of the hills, whereas towards the west coast it stays rather cloudier. Some breaks developing for parts of Northern Ireland, 17 degrees in Belfast. It stays wet, as I mentioned, across the northwest of Scotland, but for most populated parts of Scotland it will be essentially dry, with a bit of brightness, I think, to the east of the mountains. Aberdeen not doing too badly. To the east of the Pennines as well we'll see some brightness, whereas further west I think it will stay grey and a bit damp at times. But for most of the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast, it is going to be a fine day with a lot of sunshine actually across more southeastern areas, and temperatures will respond to that. It will feel warmer than it did on Tuesday. Even across parts of the southwest, I think certainly to the east of the moors, things should brighten up quite nicely. As we go into the evening time, it stays fine across the southeastern half of the UK, if you like. Still more cloud further northwest and still some damp weather across the far northwest of Scotland. Mild night though, temperatures staying well up courtesy of that humid air. Now, high pressure is going to edge its way up from the south and become the dominant feature of the weather later on this week, pushing that weather front clear of the far north of Scotland. So even here it'll dry up, and it's a dry prospect across the whole of the UK as we close the week. And in any sunshine it will feel quite warm as well. This is the picture on Thursday. Broken cloud and sunshine prevailing. Towards some western coastal fringes it could stay a little bit grey and misty if you are heading to the beach, but for most other places in the sunshine, as I say, low to mid 20s. More of the same actually on Friday, although across some northern areas by Saturday, as the wind comes in from the North Sea, it will turn somewhat cooler with rather more cloud around. Further south though, that process will take longer to arrive, so even for the first part of the weekend, I think for much of central and indeed southern UK it stays bright and warm with some good spells of sunshine. And again, temperatures easily getting up into the low to mid 20s with a bit of a breeze. So some changes taking place over the next few days. Keep up to date with those changes, of course, as ever, including 5-day forecasts by going online. That's it from me. A very good night to you.
My car seat has lots of clever features that help keep me safe. That's why the law has changed to keep all children safe. Rear-facing baby seats must not be used in a seat protected by an active front airbag. Children under 3 cannot travel unless they are sitting in a correct child seat. And children over 3 and up to 135 centimetres tall must use the correct child seat or booster. Each year around 300 children are killed or seriously injured inside cars. So that's why Mum checks my seat before every trip. Because she said you never know what's around the corner.
Think. Use the right car seat for your child. Visit thinkroadsafety.gov.uk.
I want you to make and brand your own unique pet food.
We made a dog's dinner out of it.
Ted,
pack it up.
No, Ted, chill out, would you? This is supposed to be a business task and it needs to be a bit more professional.
Similarly, Glenn, the respect works 2 ways.
The Apprentice, Wednesday at 9 on BBC One. Catch up on BBC iPlayer. Wootton Bassett, the town that remembers, on BBC One's Sign Zone in an hour. But first, graphic scenes of surgery from the start that some viewers may find disturbing. Radical, delicate, life-changing operations, giving some a rare chance to smile.